thousands of people have mysteriously vanished in America's wilderness. Join us as we dive into the deep end of the unexplainable and try to piece together what happened. You are listening to Locations Unknown.
Oh, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Locations Unknown. I'm your co-host, Joe Irado, and with me, as always, is a guy who doesn't need to turn the lights on because he can turn the dark off, Mike Vandebogart.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you once again to all of our amazing listeners for tuning in. Just a couple announcements here before we get going. First, I'd like to give a Patreon shout-out to Kimberly Barber, so thank you so much for supporting the show. I'd also like to thank our research assistant for this episode, Kai Williams, for helping us out. Really appreciate all the work you did. If you'd like to call the show, leave a voicemail, you can call 208-391-6913. We always say the meaner or funnier, the more likely it will get on the show. So
It's a true story, actually.
Let us have it. Just remember, anything you say will almost certainly be put on the show. So...
Oh, and another shout out to superfan Amanda Weber, who's been messaging us a lot. So, Amanda, you are awesome. Thank you for supporting the show.
Yes, thank you.
And you already read the number, correct?
I did.
Okay, good.
And if you want to support us through other ways, you can become a Patreon member, YouTube memberships eventually again. Premium subscriptions on Apple. We've got subscriptions on Spreaker. We've got our stores on Facebook and our website. And I think that's all of it. Can't remember. If there's other stuff, join it. Any updates from you?
No, sir.
No, sir.
All right, everybody, let's gear up and get out to explore Locations Unknown. April 24th, 2021. In the shadow of Glacier National Park, on the rugged shores of Lower St. Mary Lake, a 26-year-old vanished under mysterious circumstances. What began as a typical spring evening quickly spiraled into one of Montana's most perplexing missing persons cases. Despite extensive searches, rumors, and disturbing clues, nothing has been found. Join us this week as we investigate the disappearance of Leo Wagner. I almost... So we're going back right outside my favorite park, Glacier National Park. Favorite in the United States.
Where it all started.
If I'm going to be a little treasonous here, I'm going to say Banff and Jasper are absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's in Canada, so it
doesn't count.
It doesn't count. It doesn't matter. So this is just on the Blackfeet Indian Reservation, Lower St. Mary Lake. So that's just outside Glacier National Park. It's in the northwest corner, about 20 miles south of the Canadian border. So it's way up there. It was established on May of 1910.
That was the park.
The park.
Glacier,
yeah, we're talking about Glacier.
Yep.
It sees nearly 3 million visitors, at least in 2023. So we're starting to get the more up-to-date numbers. You know, during COVID, we lost that for a little bit. So we're just going to talk a little bit about some interesting facts about the area. The park used to be home to about 150 glaciers, but only 25 are active today.
Wouldn't have guessed that.
Wouldn't have?
No, I mean, I was making a joke.
Oh, okay. At least they've been like not retreating, or a couple of them stopped retreating temporarily, which is good.
That's good.
Yeah. So we'll see how long they stick around.
Yeah.
It's the 12th largest national park in the U.S. The famous Going to the Sun Road that winds over Logan Pass opens up to bicycles and hikers in the spring before it's open to cars. That's cool. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
That road is so long.
Yeah.
it's like a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
If a car doesn't drive off when you're halfway through it and have to turn all the way around and then go around the bottom of the park, and it takes 5 hours.
Yeah.
Because that happened. The eastern park border is right up against the Blackfeet Nation. This is the largest tribe in Montana, with physical evidence of humans dating back to over 12,000 years ago, according to the Park Service. Glacier is the first international peace park in the world, labeled with the intention of celebrating peace between Canada and the States. Glacier's borders go up to the Canadian border and is separated from Waterton National Park only by the country's border. So basically, it's a continuous park. It's just a different country picks up at the border.
We learned that the hard way when we forgot our passports.
Oh, yeah. That's why we had to hike so far, because we had to do it backwards.
Yep.
Yeah, that was no bueno.
Yeah,
and the part that we went through, was like 1 mile up and then back.
Yeah.
And it was like, sorry.
you gotta have they could have just given us a hall pass.
Yeah, they could have been like, well, if you try and go anywhere else, you'll just die.
Yeah.
So
like all our car and everything is back there. Like, we're not staying.
Whatever.
Whatever.
The park is home to over 130 named lakes, one of which is St. Mary Lake, the lower of which we'll be heading to today for the story. Overall, there are upwards of 700 lakes in the whole park that are not named. Babb, Montana, and St. Mary Lake area have been in the news a lot recently because of a canal siphon catastrophically failing, which flooded some of the Blackfeet Reservation. The canal is responsible for bringing drinking water and irrigation water to approximately 14,000 residents in northwest Montana. It's receiving emergency funding as of July 8th, 2024, from the Bureau of Reclamation to start fixing it.
I'm kind of curious to see the flooding video.
You want to see the flooding video?
I kind of do.
Let's pull that up.
Pull it up.
Oh, no, I closed the document. It'll only take me an extra second because I'm very fast.
I'll click to the video spot.
There you go. Mike's always there to help.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch screens here. All screens.
For those listening, we're watching the major flood in the area on a video.
Oh, wow, it went right into the town.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, that's...
when was this?
Oh, wow, just, let's see, 6/17,
Oh, that was this June.
Yeah, this June. So
I didn't hear anything about this. Wow.
All right. Yeah, that's terrible. It's like getting all the houses. That stinks. That's what happens when you build next to giant bodies of water sometimes.
Unfortunately.
So, all right. I can skip the map of the area. We don't have to describe that. We can put it in the show notes. We'll go into the climate. Inland maritime is a dominant system according to NPS, but it opposes the Arctic continental system, and Glacier gets both of the continental divide high winds, which give the eastern side of the park a drier and more extreme climate than the west side, which is known for features like Lake McDonald. So we are on the high winds and drier side for this story. The western side of the park, with Going to the Sun Road, averages 16 feet of snow each year, with less in the plains below the mountains.
A lot of snow.
Yes. Winter Chinook winds, thanks to the continental divide, can raise temperatures by 30 degrees Fahrenheit in just minutes. NPS says, oppositely, Arctic air can pool and get pushed out by the winds, causing blizzards. The National Park Service says one of those blizzards dropped 44 inches of snow overnight once. Jeez.
Can you imagine?
Just waking up and just being buried.
Your house is just like half covered in snow.
Yeah. Some of the terrain, there's at least 150 named mountain peaks within Glacier Park borders, the highest being Mount Cleveland at 10,466 feet. 3 different mountain ranges go through the park. There are dense forest areas that roll through the mountains, and from personal experience, are home to wood ticks in the spring and summer, which are not great to have crawling up your legs. Ticks are the most disgusting insect, I think, besides centipedes.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're worse.
They're worse because they burrow and like you have very limited time to get them off.
Well, you've got like 12 hours to before it, like you could get Lyme's disease.
Yeah, but I just don't like when things are like embedding themselves in me.
When you go up north in the fall, like, and you go on any walks in the woods, like, your legs will just be covered in ticks.
Yep. No, thank you. That's why I don't go up there in fall,
Yeah.
actually. In the lower elevations surrounding Glacier, the terrain is mostly open western plains. In the summer, the grass can be very dry and wildfires are highly common. So a little bit about the animals in the area. Glacier National Park is home to 71 different mammal species and over 260 species of birds. Bighorn sheep and mountain goats are known to be a bit territorial, especially of their young. I have a really cool video of a bighorn. I'll repost it. I got it last time I was in Glacier.
Nice.
Right before I crashed my car. Larger animals that pose dangers to humans include moose, both grizzly and black bears, mountain lions, and wolverines. Not the kind from the movie. And even the rare Canadian lynx, though those last two aren't as likely to threaten humans. Also black Angus cows on the freeway. Some exposure risks. Depending on where you are in the park will determine how covered you are. The higher up someone goes above the alpine line, of course, there are fewer trees. So the tallest peak in the park is nearly 11,000 feet. The lowest elevation is about 3,200 feet. So for our story around Lower St. Mary Lake, which has an elevation around 4,475 feet. To the east is high plains, open, exposed. To the west, going towards Glacier's boundary, is forested with aspen and pine trees. So it gives you a little bit of an idea of where the story takes place. Mm-hmm. This is important notice, non-tribal members looking to recreate in the Lower St. Mary's Lake, since it is in Blackfoot Reservation, require special permits and may not be allowed in some areas. So you can't just go wander in there. You got to get permits if you're going to be doing anything.
Yeah.
Some lake information. Lakes in the region rarely get above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, according to the National Park Service. Many of the lakes are long and skinny, remnants of glacial valleys. They're deep with steep sides. Lower St. Mary's Lake is 2,170 acres.
Alpine lakes are so cold.
They're so cold.
You have no idea how 50 degrees, I think, is like
warm?
Probably warm.
Yes. I would agree
So,
with that. All right, let's learn about Leo.
Learning about Leo. Okay, so gentleman's name is Leo Wagner. He was born on January 31st, 1995. He went missing. Pardon me, I don't have the missing date in there. Believe it's April 24th of 2021. Apologize for that.
Oh, you didn't even put it in there. We're doing so good.
I know. Remains have not been found. He was 26 at the time of his disappearance. He was 5'8", 165 pounds. He had brown hair, brown eyes. Some of the clothing and gear he was last seen in. He was wearing blue jeans with a blue plaid, or possibly striped short sleeve button down shirt with a white undershirt, Western style, very fitting for the area he is from and was last seen in. So personality of Leo. So Leo's father, Bill, described Leo in an article in a local newspaper as a jokester of the family and that he always had everybody laughing. He is obviously very well loved, judging by his family members. And he clearly was a family man. So Leo's dad and sister said he is a father of 5. So everything I read about him sounded like he was a really cool guy. His family loved him. He was, all about his family. So,
I mean, anyone that's got a lot of kids is really probably a cool person.
yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Anybody that's got like 5 or more kids.
5 or more.
Yeah,
has
it's
to be
definitely
5
just
or more.
has to be cool. Yeah.
Any less?
No, any less, you're just a normal person.
So, so Leo had an old Facebook profile that he had posted on in 2013, in which he posted that he was hanging out with friends and his brother, and he wrote, "What can get better than that?" So, his twin sister Nicole told our research actually, because she spoke with her, that he was one true man in the town, and was respected by pretty much everybody. So, seems like just a really, you always hate. I mean, any of these disappearances are sad, but when it's a person, everyone, this guy seemed really nice and cool, and it's just too bad.
Yeah, it seemed like he really, he got life.
Yeah.
Like people like that. They're like, you seem like they seem happy. They got it together.
Yep.
It's just extra tragic, I guess.
Yeah. So actually the date of last contact, according to Blackfeet law enforcement was April 26th of 2021. I think the 27th was a possible sighting. I don't think they're sure.
Okay.
So we'll get into that in the timeline. So occupation, hobby, Leo was a boxer and was, for much of his life, his sister Nicole said in a Facebook post that Leo always protected her growing up and made her feel safe. Leo also helped on his family's ranch outside of Browning. His family said the ranch is about 35 miles from where Leo was last seen. So, experience in the wilderness, we don't have any specific information on his experience in the wilderness, but I think we could maybe assume living in this region, this close to Glacier, in this part of Montana, that probably most people that live out here have gone hiking at some point and have a baseline experience.
Yeah, you're out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Your daily life is going to include some sort of
I'm not
wilderness.
saying he was a survivalist or, was,
it's probably not nothing.
Not nothing, but not, survivor man. So in that range, in the middle of it. So some of the family members we'll be talking about in this case are Michaela Wagner, Leo's sister, Nicole Wagner, Leo's twin sister, Billy Wagner, Leo's father, Billy Wagner, Leo's brother, and Frank Goins, he's on the Blackfeet law enforcement search team. So getting right into the timeline, everything starts on April 24th of 2021. So this would be the date Leo is believed to be last seen, though we have conflicting evidence that last contact might have been the 26th. So a lot of times with these cases, the last time they were seen is sometimes up in the air. It can be, some people will claim it's one day, other reports will claim it's a different day. So just keep that in your head that we've got a couple dates here that he could have potentially been seen. So on April 24th, Blackfeet law enforcement said he was last seen on this date by family and friends in the St. Mary Bab area, but did not specify what and where. Blackfeet law enforcement reportedly received a call about a man walking along the shore of St. Mary Lake. Reports do not specify that it is the lower lake, but because of the area that they say he was last seen in, it can be inferred as the lower lake is between the towns of St. Mary and Bab. So
did they say like he was on the Bab side or the St. Mary side? Because it's literally, for those listening, it's a long sliver lake.
Yeah.
It's very long, several miles. And on the bottom is St. Mary's and the top is Bab.
It did not say specifically which side of the lake he was on or which lake it was. So they're kind of just assuming it was lower St. Mary Lake just because that is closer to where he lived.
Yeah.
In Bab. So.
Well, that's okay. So he lived in Bab.
I believe he's from Bab.
Okay. So it's probably because there's St. Mary Lake. Lower St. Mary Lake is in between both of them. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So it was either on this side or that side. I think it was on the north.
Yeah. Okay. But so I think we're inferring that we believe it's lower St. Mary Lake. So they didn't specify in the report. So.
Okay.
So Blackfeet law enforcement then reportedly received a call around 6:35 p.m. that there may be an intoxicated man. Then they got a second call about the same man, this time saying the man was walking along West Shore Road and appeared to be injured. This is the west side of the lake, not Highway 89 in the map above that we have in our notes. So, is that...
It's so small, it doesn't even have the name pull up on what type of road it is.
Yeah.
I'll see if this one's... Because that's the west side.
West Shore Road, and it would be on the west side of the lake.
You know what? They might not have roads on here. You can keep going on.
I'm guessing it's that road.
The one, one right here. Yeah,
West
it's
Shore
one.
Road.
It's one road.
Yeah. So
I just want to be absolutely sure.
When Blackfeet law enforcement responded to the call, they said they were unable to locate the caller or the injured man.
Yeah,
this report
it is West Shore.
Okay.
I turned the filter on.
This report is mentioned in every news article on Leo's disappearance, but since law enforcement were unable to locate the man or caller, it cannot be confirmed for absolute certain that it was Leo they were calling about. So a lot of people think this was Leo, but we don't have official proof that it was. So April 29th, 2021 now. So Blackfeet law enforcement received a missing persons report for Leo. May 1st of 2021, Blackfeet law enforcement searched St. Mary and Babb areas, and larger search efforts began. On May 2nd, Blackfeet law enforcement received a report of a cabin near Big Nose Bay, which had been burglarized. This is at the south end of the lower lake, closer to the town of St. Mary. Reports didn't say whose cabin or exactly where it is. So, again, we don't have detailed information on the exact location, but it's safe to say that Big Nose Bay, wherever that is, and which is the south end of the lower lake. So
yeah, the south end of lower lake. It's got to be either here or here.
yeah. So,
you know what? There's actually more houses around this lake than I thought. It's pretty populated.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like a city, but it's not nothing either.
Yeah. So, in this cabin, there was some clothing and items left behind. Frank Goins, a Blackfeet law enforcement official, said the clothing items found at the cabin were indicated a severe injury. So that would make sense. One of the earlier calls said they saw an intoxicated, injured man walking on West Shore Road. And now there's
Do they just assume he was intoxicated by how he was walking? Because I'm almost wondering, if you're injured enough and losing blood, you might look like you're intoxicated.
maybe, yeah. So, where was I here? So, I apologize to the listeners.
Just talk through it.
I know I'm getting so distracted.
Just talk right through it, man. You got this.
So, like we said, the cabin had items and clothing left behind that indicated someone had a severe injury in the cabin. So, the reports that came in, there was a call that came in first that saw an intoxicated man walking down a lake. Another report came in. A second report came in, intoxicated and severely injured man walking down one of the roads near the lake. And now we have a cabin where items and clothing were found, indicating that someone with a severe injury was in the cabin. So the case is getting very strange now.
Yeah.
So the items and clothing were identified as Leo's, according to the Great Falls Tribune. In a different news outlet, Leo's dad was quoted as saying he had found a shoe and blood around the cabin. So I think it's safe to say we're confirming that the bloody clothes and items in the cabin did belong to Leo. So it kind of makes sense why people think that person they were calling in was him. Because the items in the cabin now are confirmed to be his. So, also on the same day, Leo's brother named Billy, posted on Facebook pleading for help in finding his brother. Billy's post claimed Leo was last seen with someone, but that name was redacted. And it was said that this person is close to the family. So, very interesting. None of these names have come up in reports about Leo's disappearance. So, we, just have to assume these people are innocent. And we don't want to, make any claims or anything. So, Billy also went on to say that, in a post, that Leo was getting out, walking all beat up and bloody near the Babb KOA campground. So this would have been right near where the cabin was. The post also implies that Leo has been missing for a week at this point and that people hadn't been searching because we thought he was out somewhere. To me, that seems like they thought he might just turn up or was out with some friends, but I can't say for sure. So this is all from a post from Leo's brother, Billy. So it's now May 3rd, 2021. So an incident command center was set up at the KOA campground. Search crews were composed of county and tribal members as well as volunteers. A local newspaper reported Goings said the search effort to locate Leo included helicopters, horses, ATVs, boats, drivers, cadaver dogs, and other equipment. The Blackfeet Tribal Business Council declared an emergency proclamation to help provide some resources to the Incident Command Center. And finally, a cousin or friend of Leo's posted a video to TikTok and Facebook on May 9th about the search and trying to get people to come out. And lots of people showed up because of that video. I think we've got a clip of it here.
Let's see. All screens. Oh, they're filming a TikTok. Okay. Well, they had like a whole tent set up for the incident command.
Yeah.
So it's just showing the area from the campground, and it's just showing the tree line. Looks like they're up on a hill. You can see the lake from the top. It's not that wooded.
No, not here.
You can see a lot, and even the wooded areas are not super filled with brush. Not having been on a search ever, it doesn't seem like it would be an impossible search area.
Yeah.
So compared to some of the images we've seen of like super thick brush, that didn't look too wild.
No. So yeah, that was posted by either a cousin or a friend of Leo to TikTok to try to drum up, support and to get people out there to help with the search. So it is now May 8th of 2021. So this is when there's rumors starting to fly about the case. So the first rumors got addressed in Leo's case. Apparently rumors spread on social media regarding where Leo went. Blackfeet law officer Frank Goings addressed these in a Facebook live video, which we unfortunately are unable to get at this point. It's unclear what these rumors were exactly, but law enforcement said the people involved in the rumors were interviewed, and ultimately the rumors were found to be untrue and unsubstantiated. So this is not...
People wanting to get attention.
Yeah, this is not at all uncommon in, more high-profile cases of disappearances. You'll get a lot of bad information come in, and a lot of times it's just people with good intentions that are, maybe jumping to conclusions that don't exist, and other people are just trying to seek attention. That happens too. So not entirely out of the realm of possibilities in cases like this. It's now May 9th of 2021. So search efforts at this point are getting scaled back. Family continued to search and reportedly hired private searchers to look through the lake. On July 26th of 2021, a $10,000 reward for information leading to the location of Leo and another person's case, Arden Pepian, a 3-year-old, was approved by the Blackfeet Tribal Business Council. So that's interesting. There was also another disappearance they were trying to work on. It's now August 18th of 2021. Additional searches close off the lake to boats. Not only are people searching for Leo at this time, they're also searching for Ashley Heavy, a young woman who had gone missing years before Leo. And we'll have to verify. While I'm talking, can you look up Ashley Heavy? I've never heard of that case either. And Glacier is one of our favorite parks.
Yeah. 2017, Browning, Montana, on the Blackfeet Indian Reservation.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a typo. Her name is Ashley Heavy Runner.
Oh, because I thought it was that Ashley Heavy and she was a runner.
Yeah.
Okay.
My apologies. I read that wrong. So her name was Ashley Heavy Runner, and she was a young woman who'd gone missing years before Leo. And what is that saying? She went missing. She was born in 96.
Oh, I just had it.
Hold
on. June 13th, 2017.
I never heard of that case either. Interesting. So, it's August 18th, and they, they're searching for several different people now, and it's kind of turned into a campaign. So families are now marching with signs and buttons of their loved ones, with faces on them. And we have a picture here. It says, Jesus lead the way, which is spelled in the Blackfeet native language. So very interesting. There were 2 other disappearances in Glacier around this time. And isn't that it? I just want to pause and just think about, so Glacier is one of the parks Joe, you've been there multiple times.
Yeah.
We love the
that
park.
I love that park. It's one of my favorite
I usually, keep up on what's going on around the park. And these are 3 cases I had never heard of before.
I think there's a ton. And I think some of them, so like the Ashley Heavy Runner, even when I looked it up, it was just a couple profiles.
Yeah.
There wasn't a ton of information on the initial search result.
Yeah.
But even when we hit the cow and we're stuck out there, they talked about how many people, it took 2 hours for the police to come.
Yeah.
And I was on a main highway.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of nowhere. So a lot of people, if you get stuck or in trouble, it's very dire.
Yeah, and if some of these people are part of the tribal nation, they obviously will handle their search and rescue operations in-house. So that may be leading to some of the reason why we have less information on it. So that's interesting. I'm just it's just 3 cases now in a couple year time period that we didn't know about. So
yeah. It'll give us time to cover it.
Yeah. So, like I said, this kind of turned into a big campaign, and they had all these buttons with their faces on them, and they're marching around. So it's now September 21st of 2021. More rumors are flying that his body was found at St. Mary Lake. So Blackfeet law enforcement denounces them as completely false. And they were quoted as saying, Blackfeet law enforcement is aware of false reports of a body found in the lower St. Mary Lake. We would like to notify the public that this is false information. So more rumors flying. But again, the information was not factual. It is now July 22nd of 2022. So Blackfeet law enforcement officially requested the help of the Bureau of Indian Affairs Missing and Murdered Unit on Leo's case, as well as the missing 3-year-old. The BIA takes over at this point, 15 months after Leo had gone missing. So that's interesting. Obviously, something at this point made them request the help, either just because they were getting no leads. They figured they could bring in a bigger agency with more resources maybe, that could help maybe uncover something. I don't know. So it's now December 27th of 2022. Multiple screenshots of a post made by someone the family mentioned was close circulated through posts from the Blackfeet law enforcement.
I'm showing it on the screen right now.
Okay, you are. Okay.
So it's a media release. Hard Butte man indicted on murder charge in death of woman on Blackfeet Indian Reservation.
Interesting. So, like I said, the screenshot of the post says that she just wants to put this out there and get it off my mind, that she killed Leo Wagner, and she lists the first names of 3 people who she claims helped her do it. She then apologizes to Leo's family. So, yeah, Joe's got this up on
that's wild.
the screen.
Yeah, sure. Just want to put this out there, get it off my mind. I killed Leo Wagner, Trey, and Robert and Drew. Help me. I can't deal with myself anymore. I'm sorry, Leo's sister and brother's mom and dad. She, like, instead of writing the D and, she writes AN. So I'm not pronouncing it wrong. I'm trying to read it as she's writing it.
Yeah. So, it's safe to assume, I think, that this was not a factual post, because as of February 2023, Blackfeet law enforcement said they're still involved in Leo's case and that it's definitely ongoing, but asking for the BIA's help allowed the local law enforcement to free up some of their resources. And they said this because resources are necessary as Indigenous people go missing in Montana at a much higher rate than other communities. One of the local newspapers reported, as of November 28th of 2022, 52 individuals of Montana's total 192 missing persons were Indigenous. That's 27%. So Indigenous people only comprise about 6.7% of Montana's population, according to an update from the Montana Missing and Murdered Indigenous Persons Task Force. So,
oh wow, so there's like something going on.
Something's
where it's like
definitely
much higher numbers in the Indigenous population.
And this is not the first time we've heard this. We've talked with other people on cases that we've done in the past where the Indigenous population has a much higher rate of disappearances, and there's a multiple factors for that. And it. I don't want to speculate on anything, but it's just
immediately followed by speculation.
It's good to call out this because I don't think a lot of people know that.
Well, I mean, it's big enough that they did a specific task force to figure out why.
Yeah. So, it's very interesting. So that's kind of where the timeline ends, and he's still missing. To this day, nothing was really found. So what does law enforcement think happened? So law enforcement hasn't offered an official statement about what they think happened. Obviously, they've asked for help from the BIA, and they seem to think there is foul play involved. But again, they have not confirmed this. The family has received some mixed information from different officers as to what they think happened, foul play versus suicide. Searching the lake, it seems they think it's possibly drowned on his own, or was dumped in the act of foul play, but it's never specified by law enforcement publicly why they searched the lake. I don't think that's any big secret. If someone was potentially seen around a lake and they're missing now,
and they can't find them, they're going to drag the lake.
Yeah. That doesn't seem unusual or suspicious.
Yeah, that seems like common sense.
It would be suspicious if they didn't search the lake.
Yeah.
Like, in my eyes.
Yes, honestly.
What does family and friends think happened? So, family and friends absolutely suspect foul play. They have called people out by name online. Leo's twin posts nearly every day asking for someone to speak up, and specifically ask for people from Browning, 35 miles away, to say something if they know something. I still want to know what happened to this woman that claims she killed him.
Yeah,
so there was no other news information on that. So obviously the case is still open. It was not true.
I wonder if that's like a community crazy. You know how there's like just it seems like a small community. Lots of people probably know each other. I wonder if it was one of those people that's just always doing stuff like that.
Every time someone goes missing, they say they murdered them.
Yeah, or just in general, they're just not all there.
So, yeah, it's like the person in town that says like something really crazy and everyone's like, oh, that's just Bob talking again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like our Milverine. Like he's always walking around with his shirt off and his dog, Princess.
Yeah.
And it's like he's always doing weird stuff, and it's like, oh, that's the Milverine.
He's on Instagram now.
I love his Instagram.
And he was at some like big house party, and he looked so awkward. Did you see those pictures?
Yeah, it was like with like young girls.
Yeah, like in their
not underage.
No, yeah,
I
they were in their like 20s.
Yeah, but he's like 50 something,
and he's shirtless.
Yeah, he kind of looks. So okay, for those for the new listeners, because we've talked about him before. Yeah. For the new listeners, we have this guy in Milwaukee who's in construction. He looks like Wolverine, and his hair looks like Wolverine, and he walks around. He's always in jeans. He's always got his shirt off. He's kind of jacked.
Yeah.
And he's always walking around kind of like with a purpose.
Yeah.
And he's super nice to everybody.
And you see him everywhere.
Yeah, he's always
they
walking
actually
around.
did, the AP did a story on him a few years back, and there was like a video of like the Milverine.
Yeah, so it's just an ongoing, he's a city character. Every city's got their characters.
I'll post his Instagram link.
Yeah.
And anyone listening, go follow him.
Yes. He's got a little tiny dog, and he names Princess, and he just takes pictures of his dog in different places of Milwaukee.
He's eccentric, and he was just at this house party over the weekend. It just looks so
All right, I'm
awkward.
gonna
Oh,
throw it up. Here you go. There he
Yeah.
is. There's the Milverine.
yeah. Yeah, what a
John
what a-
Frank Ham. We should have him on the show.
John for MKE Connection.
Yes. 100%.
What an interesting character.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he's got a bobblehead. We should get a Milverine bobblehead.
I mean, he's like our mascot.
Oh, I was out with my wife and two of my kids, and we saw him, and we're like, Milverine. He's like, hi, everybody. Like, he's super nice.
When I used to live down in Bayview, I'd see him all the time.
Yeah, he's a namestay.
Yeah.
The Milverine.
So, well,
Anyway,
back to the case at hand here. So,
Yeah.
so they family thinks it's foul play. I think that's a very likely theory. So, let's see here. So, like we said, Leo's twin sister is asking people to speak up, to say something if they know something. They plead it's unfair his kids have to keep going not knowing what happened, and say they do not understand how someone can take someone else's life. However, the family seems a bit divided on the matter, according to his own twin sister Nicole, in that her older brother Billy may have been given different information leading him to think it might be suicide. That's according to Nicole, but Billy's posts show he may believe differently. They have also expressed some frustration with law enforcement that they don't know how to return calls and may be covering things up for several cases. I'll just say, a lot of times, obviously when a family loses somebody and nothing has been found and it feels like no progress is being made, it's a very natural feeling. We've seen this in a lot of cases for people to think law enforcement is not doing their job or covering it up. I think just a lot of these cases, it's hard to, find evidence in these vast areas. So I'm not quick to judge and rush to judge law enforcement and say they're covering it up or doing something wrong. But I totally get why.
Think about it.
I totally get why families.
If Blackfeet law enforcement was covering it up, why would they call in another agency to help?
A federal agency.
A federal agency that would definitely uncover. If they're covering it up, they'd be like, "Oh, we solved it," or something.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't call in a bigger agency that could see if they're covering it up.
Yeah, and I don't think like the conspiracy goes that far up. If there's a cover up,
if we're talking off the deep end.
Well, not yet.
Yeah, if we're talking off the deep end.
Cat in the wall, eh?
I've been waiting to use that.
I've been waiting to use that.
No, but like I said, I totally see how family members can come to that conclusion. You're just frustrated that you feel like nothing is happening.
Yeah, and we've seen that from
a lot of cases.
A lot of cases, like especially with parents or close siblings that are just, and you said it perfectly several times. They're frustrated. They don't have answers. They want closure.
Yeah.
So anything that looks a little off, they're gonna just zoom in on like a microscope.
And especially this case where they've found actual items of his in a cabin and like bloody items, and so like there is some evidence.
Yeah.
So I get it. So media opinions and internet opinions. So there's no clear indication of what the media thinks. Overall reports were pretty vague and kept to the timeline of searches. Law enforcement was not responsive to our researcher so she's a journalist as well. And
Kai?
They did not reach out to her. And
that's just rude.
Which obviously,
if they don't reach out to us, it's fine. But she's an actual journalist. That's not appropriate
and
at all.
we do see different agencies handle the public differently. Some law enforcement we've covered some cases where law enforcement is posting daily updates on Facebook, like detailed updates of the amount of searchers, who searched, what they searched, their current theories, like in
they're just like different businesses.
They really
like
are.
It really is. It depends on who's working there.
Yeah.
Their aptitude for social media and how much they take their job seriously as far as how much they inform the public. And some of them are really good.
I would say after doing Locations Unknown for as long as we've done it, if I were running a police department that had a lot of missing persons, I think I would go the transparency route.
Yeah, I mean, it's very common transition from podcasting to law enforcement work too. Right. So I mean, that's where you can take what you've learned here and bring it with you when you go do the social media for a police department.
There we go. Call me.
Maybe that should be a service of our media company.
There we go. Yeah.
We'll do all the outdoor stuff, but then we'll have a small division that does the social media for law enforcement.
Or we'll consult and tell them how to do it right.
Yeah.
For just searches.
Yeah,
None
just
of the other
just
stuff.
for searches.
Just for
And we'll
searches.
charge like $1 billion.
Billion
Yeah.
dollars. So, yeah, it's this is a pretty puzzling case. You know, you would think bloody clothes would be a smoking gun of what happened. I think most explainable that a lot of people are leaning towards is murder. They think something foul play related based on some of the evidence found. And in a place like this, it wouldn't be hard to hide a body just because of how vast the wilderness is.
Yeah.
You know, another possible theory is, you know, maybe he was injured due to an animal attack. I mean, if he was intoxicated, in that part of the country, it's not uncommon to stumble across, you know, big game. And
Happened to us a couple times.
yeah, and I mean, if you're intoxicated, anything could happen. Maybe he was injured by an animal and then went to the campground or the cabin and tried to like patch himself up. But you would think he would have sought out help, or, you know, so I don't know if animal attack is the theory I'm leaning with. His family seems to think the craziest theory is suicide. They are adamant that Leo would not do that and are also perplexed as to how he would do that without the body being found. Another kind of crazy theory is a serial killer. So Leo went missing around the same time as the 3-year-old. Their cases are both often tied into the disappearance of 20-year-old Ashley Heavy Runner, but they're not seemingly connected other than occurring on the same reservation. So we do have 3 disappearances on this reservation, so maybe there's a serial killer in the area. I mean, that's kind of a crazier theory.
It was a wider spread, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
serial killers usually have like a
pattern.
a pattern, like, so a 26-year-old male, 3-year-old, 3-year-old, I believe a female, and then you know, a 20-ish-year-old female. So that there's like no pattern there.
Yeah.
So off the deep end. So government conspiracy. So off, you don't have the X-Files music anymore.
No, we'll just get takedown notices and get demonetized.
So this doesn't come up often, but with the high rate of indigenous people going missing, and for the same connections for the cases listed earlier, some people think the government is taking people in an attempt to further the genocide against indigenous people. So that is a very off the deep end
one.
conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I feel like that would get noticed.
Yeah, I don't know. That's up there with aliens, and I think
When it looked like those other 2 people weren't indigenous.
no, they're from the reservation.
They were from the reservation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
One of them looked like she really gets excited for pumpkin spice.
I have no comments. So let's open up the floor. What's your theory?
I think definitely succumb to injuries. If you see someone stumbling around, losing blood, breaking into a cabin to like try and do something about it. Now it's a matter of, was that sustained independently or was it foul play?
Okay.
That's the big one. So I think it's an injury thing.
So
then I'm leaning more towards foul play.
Okay, so if it was injury coupled with foul play, that end of the lake is pretty populated. So what would have happened to his body then? Because they searched the lake, they didn't find anything. It's not like this lake empties into some bigger body of water. You would think a body would be found in that lake, depending on how well they search. So what would have happened to the body then?
That's what I was thinking of. If they didn't dredge the lake, I would have said they probably dumped it there. But I think you said it before, the vastness of the area, drive it out anywhere, bury it, and
yeah. So
unless somebody saw you, who's going to know?
yeah, that's why I'm kind of ruling out just pure injury, because
Well, that's what I'm saying, like the injury, like a stab wound.
or something like that.
You're not like a natural injury, like an
no,
animal or a fall.
Like that's why I was saying like foul play injury or just self-inflicted injury.
So foul play, so that would contradict in a way what we learned about him as a person, because like everyone in town liked him. He was a family man.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you're not going to have an enemy. Or I know lots of good people that maybe went out drinking and did something stupid in front of the wrong person.
Got into a fight and then got stabbed.
Or not even. I mean, if you're dealing with somebody who's... Now, we're going down the road where my theory is real.
Yeah.
You're dealing with someone who's going to stab somebody. He could have done some innocuous thing that's like a funny quirk he has, and they just took it the wrong way.
Yeah, I think if you're dealing with someone that if you talk to them the wrong way, they stab you, they would definitely not hesitate to try and hide the body then.
Yeah.
If you're going to go far enough to stab someone,
yeah, maybe he got stabbed.
You're gonna go all the way and just hide the body.
Yeah, he started running away. They found him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm just trying to think like, so.
I based on the pictures of the area, I mean, it's not nothing, but it seems pretty open. The search effort, how
so do you think
not
he was,
secluded it is, I would say it's secluded. I feel like the body's not there, and it's not because they can't find it. It's because someone got rid of it.
Now, do you think he was intoxicated or drugged? Because people said they saw an intoxicated man, but that doesn't mean alcohol.
I was going to say, that could be blood loss.
Well, it could be blood loss, or it could be like a roofie type drug that someone put in his drink.
Yeah. I don't know if like rohypnol would be a thing. I look at it as maybe he was a little bit intoxicated, got into an altercation,
started losing blood,
all the things on, compiling on top of each other.
Now, it must have not have been enough blood loss because they didn't say that they saw like a blood trail or anything. So
yeah.
But if he was wearing jeans, maybe it was like pooling.
Well, and what did they say when they found like the house he broke into? There's blood towels and rags everywhere.
Like just blood everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. So enough he's trying to deal with it, and it probably isn't. Now, the reason the hospital wasn't called, there was no 911 call.
Yeah.
Why is that the case? So is he involved in something where he can't call the police
now
or unable to?
Another thing I thought of too is, who's the owner of this cabin? Did like him and a couple buddies get drunk and tried to break into this cabin, and then whoever owned the cabin shot him or killed him? And then
but then they would report a break-in.
Yeah, and you would think that would show up in law enforcement reports, like, the homeowner killed him.
Well, and I'm guessing they interviewed him, whoever owns it. So I'm really heavily leaning towards foul play, whether it was like intentional or a fight, heat of the moment, and then they got rid of the body. That's what I think. Interesting.
Yeah, this one is a little perplexing to me. Like we said, he was well-liked, and everyone in town liked him, so it's a little hard for me to picture him getting stabbed over something, because there was no indication that he was into things that would get him into that situation, but we really don't know that much about him personally. So, but yeah, I think generally I lean towards the theory the family has that some kind of foul play happened, and his body is not in the area. Someone removed it, and that's why they haven't found him. I don't think there's a grand conspiracy going on with law enforcement or the government.
Yeah, I don't think any of that.
I think just someone...
If it was going to be any conspiracy, it would be local. Usually locals where you see that type of stuff. And again, they're not going to call in a federal agency to oversee an operation.
Someone murdered him or injured him gravely. And if you're going to go to that far, you're going to just go all the way and hide the body.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Now, in a town that's small, I'm sure they would have a short list of bad actors that are typically the types get in trouble.
Yeah.
So... I mean, you can't just go knocking down doors because of priors.
Yeah.
That'd be a big violation of your rights as a human. But
yeah,
if they're puzzled, that's kind of what gets me. If they're like calling in extra help,
because and you got to wonder too.
Can't like that.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this is my assumption. Maybe they do that all the time. It just seems like something that. And I'm getting this from my experience in television shows. Whenever another agency comes up, the guy running the scene's really pissed that they have to lose control of the scene, and they're not doing it willingly. I feel like that's got to be kind of real. Why would they make that up?
Like,
so if you're gonna, if
like
the
that's
Blackfeet-
last resort.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like they don't want them there. They want to solve their own cases. Why wouldn't they?
And probably especially a tribal nation law enforcement agency probably absolutely does not want to call the federal government.
Oh yeah, I
they
didn't even think of
have to.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
like they just take care of their own business.
Yeah.
So if they're that puzzled,
they're
that they're going to
their
call
own-
them in.
You know, they're their own land. Like them calling in the federal government's kind of like the last resort. Like
I would agree with that.
they're not going to want to do that unless they've, like they said, they wanted to free up resources. Yeah, I don't know. You would think 2021. Think of like all the cameras in your neighborhood, like on the different houses. Everyone has Ring doorbells and cameras. You tell me there's
maybe not up there.
one cabin.
Maybe not up there.
I mean,
Because when I looked at the Google Earth, like there's houses there, but it's like the main road's kind of far off.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to get much if you even do have that.
just like even one Ring doorbell
Yeah.
somewhere.
I don't know.
It catches
I don't
them
know.
like walking by. I don't know. Very interesting case. Maybe at some point down the road, somebody will find his remains. But yeah. So
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
no, thank you to Kai for helping research
Yeah.
this one.
Great job. It was a good story. Thank you all again for tuning into our show. We appreciate all of you for listening and sharing locations unknown with your friends and family. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, where you can find all the videos of all the things we were talking about so you can actually go see them. So you can listen to it twice. Also, if you'd like to support the show monetarily, please visit our website and Facebook store to buy some sweet, sweet swag. And additionally, you can subscribe to our Patreon account on YouTube and Apple, where you'll have access to special events, additional shows just for the paid customers only. And lastly, when you're enjoying the beauty of nature, whether backpacking, camping, or simply taking a walk, always remember to leave no trace. Thanks, and we'll see you all next time. We're campling.
Campling.